Welcome to Wisdom Years. Today, we're talking about something many people are quietly facing, growing older and realizing you're alone. The people who once filled your life, your partner, your kids, your friends, have either passed away, moved on, or become distant. And now the house is quiet, the calendar is empty, the phone rings less. So what do you do when you're in your 60s or 70s or even 80s and there's no one left by your side? This isn't just about loneliness. It's about how to keep living with dignity, purpose and peace when life no longer looks like it used to. It doesn't happen all at once. At first it's subtle. The kids get busy, friends move or pass away, you retire, and suddenly the structure that once held your life together begins to dissolve. Days blend together. Meals feel more like routines than experiences. Conversations become rare. Maybe you were always the one helping others, the provider, the fixer, the caregiver. And now, for the first time, you realize no one is coming home tonight. The silence after sunset feels heavier than it used to. The photos on the shelf are still smiling, but the people in them feel like they belong to another lifetime. Isolation in old age doesn't just affect your emotions, it affects your health, your memory, even your will to live. You start wondering, what if something happens to me? Will anyone know? If I fall, if I get sick, if I forget to eat, is there anyone checking in? These aren't just sad thoughts. They're real questions, and for many people, they're daily realities. But here's the truth. You don't have to live this way. There are steps you can take, not just to survive, but to rediscover connection, meaning, and yes, even joy. The first step is acceptance, not despair. Accept where life is now, not where it used to be. The past mattered, but it's not where your future lives. That begins today. 1. Create a routine. Wake up with intention. Get dressed, step outside. Even if no one's waiting, the world still has something to offer. 2. Move your body. A walk, a stretch, a gentle yoga session, not to impress anyone, but to remind your muscles and your mind that you're still alive. Reach out? Yes, even if no one reaches first. Join a community center, sign up for a hobby class, volunteer. People might not knock on your door, but connection often begins with you knocking first. It's easy to believe that friendship, love or companionship has an expiration date, that if it didn't happen by 40 or 50, it's too late. That's a lie. Some of the deepest connections in life happen after 60, not because you're seeking excitement, but because you're seeking presence. You begin to appreciate simple things. A warm meal with a neighbor, a shared laugh in a park, a late-night conversation with someone who just gets it. Whether it's a new friendship or even a gentle romance, don't shut the door on new people just because time has passed. The heart doesn't retire, it just changes tempo. Sometimes even those new connections don't last. People move away, health changes, life rearranges itself. When that happens, allow yourself to grieve, but don't collapse. You've faced loss before, you've survived it. And each time you came out with more depth, more resilience. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And when you're feeling that silence again, remember, your peace is not dependent on another person's presence. It can be built inside you. There comes a point when you stop waiting for someone to knock at the door and start knocking on your own soul. You begin asking yourself different questions. What makes me feel alive now? What gives me peace regardless of who is or isn't around? This is when you transition from surviving solitude to embracing it. Because even though loneliness and solitude feel similar, they are very different. Loneliness is the ache of absence. Solitude, on the other hand, is the art of being whole with yourself. It's the moment you sit with a cup of tea in the morning and realize, I don't need noise to feel worthy. I don't need company to feel content. That's not isolation, that's inner freedom. Of course, this shift doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience and some emotional renovation. Old thoughts will rise, regrets, mistakes, things left unsaid. But now you have the wisdom to meet them differently. Instead of pushing them away or drowning in guilt, you observe them, you learn from them, you bless them and let them go. This emotional maturity is a powerful tool in later life, the ability to reflect without self-punishment, to forgive others without needing closure, and most importantly, to forgive yourself for not being perfect. You've lived a long life, maybe not always a glamorous one, but a meaningful one, and that counts. You may not have trophies to show, but you have lessons carved into your soul. That's a form of success people don't talk about enough. Now is the time to start tending to the garden of your inner world, not out of loneliness, but out of reverence. Journal your thoughts. Revisit music you once loved. Try painting, even if your hands shake. Read poetry aloud to yourself. These are not childish hobbies. They are sacred acts of keeping your spirit alive. You don't need an audience to matter. You don't need applause to have value. You don't have to prove you're still relevant. You simply are, and that's enough. At the same time, give your days a sense of movement, not just physically, but emotionally. Call the people who are still around. Send handwritten letters to old friends. Give compliments to strangers. Smile at the cashier. These micro-interactions may seem small, but they rebuild connection. Not just with people, but with life itself. Sometimes the world doesn't ignore us, we just stop showing up. So start showing up again, even if it feels awkward at first. Go to the library, attend a local lecture, join a walking group for seniors. There are more kind people out there than we think, and many of them are also just waiting for someone to say hi. And when you feel unseen, and yes, that still happens, remind yourself that your value isn't based on who pays attention to you. You're not an outdated chapter. You are a living archive of emotion, memory, laughter, heartbreak, and grace. You are the living proof that time doesn't steal beauty, it just changes where it lives. Maybe it no longer lives in your skin or your speed, but it lives in your stillness, in your listening, in your ability to find meaning in things others overlook. That's the quiet beauty of aging. It's also time to reconnect with something deeper than the everyday, something spiritual. Whether you're religious, spiritual but not religious, or simply curious, this stage of life offers an opening to explore the bigger questions. What does it mean to have lived? What do I want to leave behind? Not in things, but in impact. What kind of presence do I want to embody in my final years? You may find comfort in prayer, in meditation, or simply sitting outside and watching the clouds move, knowing you're a part of something far greater than yourself. This spiritual connection, whatever form it takes, becomes your silent companion. A presence that walks with you, even when no one else does. And while you're reflecting, don't forget to laugh. Aging can be heavy, yes, but it also offers moments of absurdity, lightness, and unexpected joy. Laugh at your forgetfulness, laugh at your stubbornness. Laugh at how long it takes to get out of a chair. Not because you've given up, but because you've learned not to take it all so seriously. Laughter keeps the heart open. It brings oxygen to the soul, and it reminds you there's still joy left to taste. Let's also talk about boundaries. Yes, even in old age they matter. Maybe your family expects you to be endlessly available, or maybe they've pulled away too far. Either way, set boundaries that protect your peace. You don't have to say yes to everything just to feel useful, nor do you have to accept neglect quietly. Speak up with love. Say what you need. Let people know you still exist, that you still feel, that you still matter. Aging doesn't mean becoming invisible. It means becoming selective. About your time, your energy, and your presence. And if you've outlived a spouse or multiple partners, remember, grief is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel okay. Other days you'll ache in places no one can see. That's okay. Grief is the cost of love. It comes in waves, and all you can do is learn how to float. Cry when you need to. Talk to their photo if it helps. Wear their shirt. Listen to their favorite song. This doesn't make you weak. It means you love deeply. And what a privilege that is, even in pain. But don't confuse grief with guilt. You're allowed to keep living. You're allowed to be happy again. You're allowed to laugh without feeling like you've betrayed the past. The best way to honor those you've lost is to keep becoming more of yourself, not less. So, if you're watching this and thinking, it's too late for me, please hear this. It's not. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not done. Even if no one is left by your side, you still have you. And that is not a small thing. Create a rhythm. Find your people, even just one or two. Speak up when you're hurting. And never stop opening your heart to this strange, beautiful, ever-changing life. You're still here, so live like it matters. Thank you for joining me on Wisdom Years. If this message touched you, or you know someone it might help, please share it. Let's make sure no one feels they have to walk the road of aging completely alone. Until next time, take care of your mind, your soul, and your days.